Welcome to the Effects Loop. I'm Diaz.
I'm Clifton.
And we're keeping you in the loop with the guitar community. This episode's brought to you by our Patreon. So we got cool people who give us money so we can do this stuff, which we'd still do it even if you didn't give us money, but it always makes it a lot more fun when you give us money. So go check out our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/theeffectsloop, and there's different tiers. You can give us different amounts of money. We won't be upset. I think there's a minimum, and if you hit that, I'm still a happy camper. And I don't even like camping, so... all right, and then, so as you can tell, there was a different voice doing the intro. Chris is not here yet again, so if you ever see Chris online in the hallways, give him the stink eye. But we've got Clifton from the Clifton Worley Show, and I mean, that's the big thing, and you're doing whirly birds, and you're doing pedals with spruce effects, all this cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been busy.
And now I saw you post the other day, and it was perfect timing, because I was like, man, our last episode was We Love You, Clifton. And I was like, we should get Clifton on the show. And you put up a post, you're like, if anyone wants me on the show, hit me up. And I was just like, that is perfect timing.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to be on a show where I'm not having to steer the boat, so...
Yeah, you're not doing the interview.
Yeah.
I'm going to interview you. It's like the episode of The Office. I thought I was conducting the interview. You said when I walked in here, I was conducting the interview. You know what? Actually, Clifton, you've been bamboozled. I actually had you on the show to interview me. Could you imagine if that was your shtick? It was you go on people's show just to interview the host. That honestly would be probably one of the funniest things ever.
Oh, it'd be hilarious.
All right, next week we're gonna have Clifton on. He's gonna interview me. But actually, I was on your show and you did interview me, so you can go check out Clifton's show and how he interviews. The best part about Clifton's show is you've just got that so calming voice. It's I don't know. It's when I listen to your show, I'm just it's peaceful. It reminds me of sitting in a study at your house, smoking a pipe, and just listening to a record player. It's classic.
Well, it's easy for me because all I have to do is listen and then pipe in every now and then. So it's perfect.
See, I couldn't do an interview show. I like having people on, and I like interacting and interviewing. But usually when we have people on, we're about to do, you do the gear news with me and everything, and we just kind of chit chat. I couldn't be in an interview because if someone just kept talking, I'd be like, I'll be like, oh man, I missed the level. You'd be like, what are you doing? Nothing. No, keep going. I'm too ADD to be the guy who listens all the time. But yeah, go check out Clifton's show. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to move on to our What's New. Clifton, you actually do have some new gear.
I do. Well, obviously, of course, and some of you have seen it because you have one. The Whirly Bird. I did a collab with Spruce Effects. I think we released that about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And
well, there's an episode that I played it. So go check out one of the episodes where I actually played it on air. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I did a little Instagram clip of that. So
oh yeah.
But yeah, so I've been working with him a really long time, and if you want to listen to, I've got an episode where I talk with Brian from Spruce Effects. It's pretty recent. If you want to dig in deep to what that pedal's about and all the concept, but basically I've been working since about NAMM last year behind the scenes on this, and we right after Winter NAMM kind of pulled the trigger, and then it was all getting the prototype, getting it to production, and getting all the graphics, and Paul Pennington.
Did he have to send you one and you had to say, oh yeah, I really like this?
Yeah, and we ended up, Paul Pennington did the graphics.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh, that's
from
cool.
Flippin' Flippers.
Yeah, Paul was on the show.
Yeah, and so if you need graphics, he's a good guy to hit up.
Those graphics are great because it just reminds me of like the 70s Vietnam movies, like Born in the 4th of July, Apocalypse Now. It just, or maybe like closer to 80s. It has a 80s feel, but it's just really, I love the graphics. And the thing that's the sleeper on this pedal, and I keep telling everyone, is the gain in it. It sounds just lush and thick, and it can get like really high gain, which I love. I crank it. I love cranking it and just using that pedal by itself. It like compresses, and it just has this nice feel. I think I messaged Brian and was like, "What pedal is this in?" And he's like, "It's not in a pedal," and I was just like, "This needs to be in a pedal."
Yeah,
like that's like because usually whenever they do something like that pedal, the tremolo's the pedal, and then it's got the gain stage, so usually they borrow the gain stage from somewhere else, and the tremolo's like the thing that they're working on. But that's specific to that pedal. So if you want that lush gain, you have to buy that pedal.
Yeah, and I mean
it's
a variant of a Rangemaster, I believe. But and he talks about the differences in that episode I did with him, but it basically it's a top boost, so it pushes some of those frequencies that kind of gets buried when you use a tremolo.
Yes. Well, yeah, because anytime you play, that's a big thing when you play with a tremolo. So a lot of people think that there's a volume drop, and sometimes there is, but a lot of it is the frequencies that cut through and that you hear really well, those go down.
Yeah.
And so I guess with that top end that or with the top boost, it just kind of helps it push through. So I used it this past week at church. We were playing Good Father, and I slapped that on, got it, and the light blinks with the tempo, so I actually got the tempo lined up, and it was just right on. It was great.
Yeah, that's been fun. I saw like this last Sunday, I think you and then Michael Newman both had them on their pedal boards. You guys had them for Sunday, which I think is amazing that you're churching it.
Hardcore.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun seeing all the places that it lands.
Yeah, it's a really cool pedal. I mean, it's just great. And then I think you got something else, because I saw the live stream of this and it made me want one.
Yeah, so I've been kind of this was a lot different idea, but I had a DS1 that, like, I have a cousin that kind of gave up playing guitar, and he messaged me and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna send via your mom and dad this bag full of a bunch of music junk that I'm trying to get rid of." And I was like, "Okay." And it had a DS1 in it, and I was like, well, I'm not really a big fan of the DS1. I've had them, and I always end up like getting rid of them because I have better.
The DS1 is that pedal that you get and you're like, oh, I forgot how this is not as bad, and then after a week you're like, never mind, it's still that bad.
Yeah,
and you get rid of it.
Yeah, it has a very specific sound, and it's kind of to me a one-trick pony.
The weirdest thing I've ever found was the fact that Joe Satriani like used a DS1 like hardcore. I think he still uses one, and it's just insane. That's like one of those pedals that like everyone has to buy and sell at one point in their life.
I mean, they're so daggum cheap that why not? But I knew I did.
You can get a steak dinner. You can't, like, it's cheaper than a steak dinner. Like, you can get them for $20-$25.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And I thought about taking it apart and modding it, and I really don't have time to jump into that. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of just put it out there, hey, who wants to do something cool with this? And Sean over at Lollygagger contacted me, and he was like, look, I want to prototype some ideas because I want to, offer some mods for these types of pedals. And he was like, just send it to me, and we'll work something out, And so I don't remember how long it was, but, it wasn't like a crazy long time. And he would send me videos of, hey, I'm doing this, and
I think I saw a video. I don't know if it was the same DS1. I think he did a live video with it too, didn't he?
yeah, it probably
Before he
was
sent it
it. Yeah. And he would send me these teaser videos and be like, look, this is what I'm doing, and at one point he sent it to me and then sent it back, and finally got it back again, and so what it does is basically he's got something called a cherry pit mod in it. And what it does is it's kind of got like a voltage starve knob, and it's mounted on the right side of the pedal, so it kind of sticks out a little bit. But it's a pot that if you roll it back, it starts starving it and makes it like a very sputtery, gatey type buzz.
And that's a lot of fun to do with some pedals, because I've got a True Tone CS12 power supply, and one of the slots has a 9 volt to 4 volt sag.
Cool. Yeah. And so he not only put that in there, but he had he put a foot switch to turn that part of the circuit on and off. And so he basically did that. I don't know what he did to refine the circuit, but he has there's a toggle switch at the top that does like it's like
the clipping.
Yeah, it's like a I want to say like a germanium clipping, and then like a no clipping at all, and then like an asymmetrical clipping. And so you get a lot of options, and then it's fun to turn the cherry pit on and then to use those different clipping options too. I mean, they've all got different sounds. It's really fun. One of the first things I did with it is I goosed that in front of my Whirlybird.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That sounds like it'd be crazy.
Yeah. It turned into just straight up like noise generator, like you could make crazy like little you could almost make like arpeggio type sounds with the tremolo, and so I gotta find a way to do that, but I think it'd be fun to kind of play around with that a little bit.
Dude, get a bass behind it instead of guitar.
Yeah, that would be
get that
that'd
nice
be rad.
like sputtery fuzz and that. Dude, like kind of almost getting that like synth craziness. You'll be playing Nine Inch Nails in no time.
Yeah, and it's pushing me to do some things I never done. You know, when you play it, and you think and I've had people tell me that, well, this kind of sounds like John Fogerty, you know, that kind of sound, but it can do so much more, and it's just really it's a cool tool that's it's kind of like you go through your like somebody's toolbox and you see different tools, and sometimes some of them are odd and kind of do different things, and that's why, like, yeah, tremolo is a thing. I mean, like TR2, you know, it does its thing and it does it very well. This is different. This is kind of like an oddball. You're not gonna find something that's exactly like this, and so whether or not it fits your rig or not, you know, that's up to you. But it's definitely a fun pedal.
Oh yeah, I've completely enjoyed every second I've had it. As soon as I got it, the thing went on my board.
That's awesome.
All right, and then so we'll keep moving. Oh, it's mine. What's new? So I put on here. Too much. I went yard sale on this past weekend, and I got a bunch of random crap. I love yard sales because it's pretty much like if I ever have one, I'm just gonna put on the sign, our crap can be your crap, because that's how I feel. Like I had a feeling that I was going to find some cool stuff. If you ever go yard sailing, there's those weekends when you wake up and you're like, I feel like an old person right now because I actually do this almost every weekend. You wake up and you're just like, I don't think I'm going to find anything, but I just want to kind of go out and roam around. I might find something cool. And then there's those Saturday mornings when you wake up early, it's 6:30, you got your breakfast already in you, and you're like, I'm going to get something awesome. That was this past weekend. That's how I felt. I got I felt like I was going to find some guitar stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually found some cool things. I did find a guitar, and I bought it kind of because I felt bad for the guy. It was $10. It was, hold on one second. It's a brand called Elgar.
Okay.
It was, they had them in the 70s. I'm guessing it's kind of like a Montgomery Ward magazine, or like, I can't find anything about the model or anything. It looks like someone took the piece of paper inside that has all the information out. But it was a $10 acoustic, and it kind of reminds me of my 70s Alvarez.
Okay.
And so I spent $10 there. I got a really cool old, I think it's from the 50s Zenith tube radio.
I saw that. That really got my attention.
$5.
That's amazing.
And it's funny because when I bought it, I didn't think, oh, it's a tube radio. I just said, oh, that's a really cool looking radio. That's something that you could just keep around, and it's old and it looks cool. So I got home, I plugged it in, and I'm like, oh man, it doesn't work. And then 15 seconds later, I started hearing noise. I was like, it's a tube radio. It's like they had to warm up. I kind of felt stupid for a second. Like, I'm a guitar snob, and I couldn't even like recognize that it was probably tubes. But it's really neat. It has such a crystal clean sound. I was thinking about looking at it and seeing about making like a little tiny amplifier or something like that. I really don't want to mess with it because it seems to be an original everything.
Yeah. I've had a couple of, I know I've had at least one tube radio. I've messed around with some. And I don't like to mess with those because I don't know about the Zenith, but a lot of those have like old 40s style wiring where everything's point to point, but it's like literally like a hornet's nest inside those chassis.
Yeah. Well, and it is a Zenith, which is probably one of the bigger names that you can think of in like radios and stuff like that. It's a company that's been around forever. So I don't want to mess with it. I thought it was a cool find for $5. I also got what, I don't know what it is. I posted it in 60 Cycle Hum and I tagged Ed Chu. It looks like a old school like multimeter or like some sort of current reader. And I'm going to actually send that off to Ed Chu, and he's going to do something cool for me with it.
That's sweet. Yeah. Because
I really want it to be where I think I'm going to put a Dan Echo in it.
Okay.
And if there's enough room, I think he might sneak a fuzz in there or something.
Oh, man. Yes.
Because what I want to do is I want to be able to set it. I don't want to turn it into a pedal. I want to keep it as like a carry box. The wood has to go. The wood's old and disheveled. But I want to keep it where I can set it like on top of my Kemper or something and run it in the effects loop or something. Just something cool. And I think I might talk to him about seeing if he can get it to light up when it turns on and all that. It'd be really neat. So I've got to send that off. I'm trying to think of other. I got more Dan and Electro pedals because I collect them and it's a cheap collection. I got the Dan Electro Free Speech, which is the talk box.
Yeah.
Which sucks. If you ever have a chance to buy one of those, don't. But I had to buy one because I've got to finish my collection. And it needs to be modded. It needs to have more volume coming out. And there's a lot of volume bleed out of the casing. So if you don't know how the top box works, you plug your guitar in, and inside that pedal is it's pretty much like a speaker, like a little mini amplifier, but the volume goes through a tube into your mouth, and you use the shape of your mouth to create, words with the sound coming out of your mouth. It's kind of like talking, but instead of you providing the sound, the guitar's providing the sound into your mouth. And you push that back, the sound comes out of your mouth into a microphone, which that seems way more complicated. I was trying to explain this to the people at Lowe's because I had to go there to get a tube for the talk box. And after a while, after like a minute, the lady's just looking at me. I'm like, Peter Frampton. She goes, oh yeah, good luck with that. It seems to make you really happy. And I about died because I was just like, I turned into one of those people who is just so into this that I'm like telling random strangers, because when you walk into Lowe's holding a guitar pedal, because I had to make sure it was the right size, you get weird looks.
Yeah.
But I got that. I got the Dan Electro, the Danomatic tuner. I actually got 2 of those. I got one in the cream color that it normally comes in, and then there's a more rare red color, and I found one of those that had the full box and everything, and I had to get one of those. I'm trying to think what else I got, because I just had a crazy week with guitars. I think that's it. It feels like there's more. But that's about it. Let's see. Let's move on to gear news. So some of the cool stuff that's happening. Cowerfest is about to happen. How soon is that?
It's this weekend, actually. I don't know which day this airs, but I think
this will air tomorrow.
So
it's Tuesday for us. It's Wednesday for you.
The 8th is this Saturday, the 8th, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have tickets already, it's way too late. Unless you live like 5 minutes down the road, I guess.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and I mean, I've got some points that I need to get rid of, or they're fixed to expire, but I don't have enough to get out to Sacramento. So
you can fly into Nashville, and we'll meet up for a weekend before NAMM. I don't know why we'd have to do it so close to NAMM, but or Summer NAMM.
Yeah.
We're gonna that's like, it's like pre-party. What is that called? Pre-gaming. We're gonna pre-game Nashville. We're gonna go get some hot chicken before, so we can test it out. We can be like, no guys, no, we're not doing that this year. We're doing a different place.
We're having Cowerfest over in Tennessee.
Yeah, let's. You know what, Doug? If you happen to listen to this next year, Cowerfest, my backyard. Let's just, if we could do that, I will be there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm a little envious, but you know what? I think I was like the only Eastern dude that even went last time they had Cowerfest. So
yeah, I remember you went, and like I would love to go, but yeah, being like the East Coast we're kind of like
Southeast,
Southeast. It's so hard to get out there. And you know what? The gas prices scare me. I'm just going to say it. I don't know if I could look.
Yeah. I think when I was in Tracy, California last year, I think I paid like good grief, it was like $3.50 or something like that for a gallon.
Dude, I just paid like $2.25 today. I was pretty excited about that. Oh, dude, you know what we can do? We can smuggle some plastic straws and sell them.
that does get on my nerves big time on the West Coast.
I felt really bad. The farthest west I've ever been is actually Nashville. I've never gone West Coast. I'd love to go. It's just not really feasible. I've got 3 kids, and those little jerks want to eat 3 times a day. And Clifton, you've got 78 kids, and not really. You've got a few kids.
Yeah, I've got 4, and they already. I don't like. I like go grocery shopping, and like I'm like, oh, this is enough food, and like it's like just go through it, like
dude. And it's summer break.
Yeah.
No school. At least the school was helping me out with 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
Yes, you're cutting into my income. Well, I've always wanted to go over there. But I think a lot of people will be sharing. You should check it out, and it's really cool. I think you said Doug's teasing a new style guitar or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's called. I could be wrong. I think it's the Shoreliner.
You're spreading misinformation. Doug's going to send you a message. Please don't say that ever again. People keep asking me about it. All 3 people who listen to the Effects Loop were asking me about it.
We got half a dozens and dozens, right?
We've got dozens of listeners. There's dozens of them. I don't know. We'll make it big one day. We'll get 14. All right, so next was something. So we already talked about Serious Effects with Whirlybird. They're also teaming up with Dirge Effects or Dirge Electronics.
Yeah, and he had told me about this. Basically, Dirge, what their deal is, what their shtick is they do these. He does these casings, and instead of like screen printing them, he like does etching into the metal enclosures, like
is
with colors and stuff. Yeah,
or is it?
I think it is, and he kind of like digs in at different layers and uses it to build art that way. So it's very like cool. Unique you won't see anybody else doing exactly what this guy's doing.
Yeah.
And so you can look up Dirge like on Instagram and look at some of their stuff, and then so basically Brian's done a collaboration. Which Brian is like the collaboration dude right now. Like he just he's works with anybody, even me. So if he'll work with me, he'll work with anybody.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to send Brian a message. I'll be like, I heard you worked with Clifton Worley.
if he can survive me, he can work with anybody.
I don't think I could work well with doing a collaboration on a pedal, because I think I just have, not saying people who do this don't have respect, I think I have like I guess an not irrational, but an over sense of like, don't want to hurt the person's feelings. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to be like, that does not sound like anything I would ever play. I couldn't imagine ever saying anything like that, which I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure people have a nice way of saying things, but I feel like a pedal builder would be frustrated with me because they would want like feedback, and I'd be like, no, it sounds great. They're like, no, but what do you think about this? I'm like, it sounds great.
Well, the one thing he kept telling me, and because I'm not a very dynamic person, and he would send me, I'm doing this, and I'd be like, that's cool, and he'd be like, well, that's not good enough. Like I was wanting, like it's like, well, yeah. Well, I mean, like I think it's pretty cool, and had to kind of tell him, look, like just because there's like a lack of exclamation marks, like we're good,
Yeah. I think I might be like the extreme other way. Like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And he's like, just shut up. That was a DS1 I recorded. Yeah. I was just testing you. All right, so we'll move on to the next cool little thing. I saw this, and I just kind of want to know if you know who this is. So there's a pedal company called Prescription Electronics. Apparently, they're announcing a return.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of them?
I'm looking them up.
They're in Portland. What if it's like Mr. Black, and he like went in and did it again? Like no one knows it's
Prescription Electronics. They've only got 14 followers now because I just followed them.
Well, they've been defunct since the 90s.
Yeah, that's all I see, and it's got a bunch of pictures of transistors.
My phone just died, so I'll take your word for it. All right, well, there's a bunch of cool pedals. It looks like they've got a Octafuzz. Actually, looks like a pretty cool. I always thought it was always neat whenever the pedal has like this. They have the switches on top, but the knobs are on the side.
Okay.
It looks pretty cool. But yeah, good luck to you guys. Welcome back. I love how we went from knowing stuff and then we're just like, yeah, no, they're back. All right. All right. So next on the really cool list was actually Squatch just did a run of Pelletars with a wooden top. And if you don't know who Squatch is like a subsidiary, like maybe like cousin of Sinusoid. Mm-hmm. It's owned by the same people, but they do different things. Sinusoid does cables, Squatch does wood stuff. They've done pedal boards. Now they did the Pelletar with a wood top. They're doing straps. And a lot of their stuff looks really cool.
Yeah, that was a super, super limited run. And, I mean,
10
it
of
went
them.
away like nobody's business. Fast. Yeah.
So I wonder if it's going to go resale crazy.
I'm sure it will. I think there's enough cult following of those for people to go bananas over it.
How come we're not doing more wood topper pedals? What if Creation started making like wood toppers for like your your like Strymons and your Big Skies? You know what? That's not a bad idea. Hold on, I gotta make a phone call. John! I like put out the Creation bat signal. John, crazy idea. Pedal toppers for pedals.
Well, I tried to pitch an idea to Pelican one time because I actually saw this when I visited you up at Oak Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
There's this like Pellissippi.
Pellissippi Parkway,
Yeah,
dude.
and I was like, you need to have a pedal called the Pellissippi, and he's like, oh, cool, thanks. I was like, no, he doesn't get it. So
Yeah, no, dude, the Pellissippi Speedway. If you ever drive on that, that's like the redneck autobahn, dude. We all have a name. There's a bunch of roads where I'm from that just have our own little country nicknames. There's Alcoa Highway, which we call I'll Kill Ya Highway. then we got Pellissippi Parkway, which is Interstate 140, but it's called the Pellissippi Parkway, also known as Pellissippi Speedway, also known as the Redneck Autobahn. There's a bunch, because people in Tennessee are nuts when it comes to driving.
well, they're probably all driving like GMC or Ford, like oversized trucks, and it's like the attitude, I know it is around here, the attitude is if you get in a wreck, it's not gonna hurt you. So
Well, no, it's not even that. Like, we do have a lot of, I've got a Toyota Tundra, I've got a bigger size truck. It's not like a, oh, I'm sorry about that down there size truck, but it's like just, there's a lot of actually small speedy cars, because like near us we've got the Dragon, which is like 316 turns in 3 miles.
Mm-hmm.
It's something crazy, and a lot of these like European cars love to zip through there, and like that's one of the things, because we got a lot of twists and turns around mountains and stuff, because I live like pretty close to the Smoky Mountains, like 15 minutes I'm in the Smoky Mountains. And so a lot of people like to speed through the Smoky Mountains. There's just twisty roads and everything. So believe it or not, there's a really big like European car stuff. And then we've got a lot of Harleys too, because the motorcycles like to go through there. And
yeah,
we've got the Smoky Mountain Harley Davidson's like one of the most popular Harley Davidson shops. They've got the Shed where a lot of artists come through. I saw No Name Henson there. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a like kind of a rockabilly Halloween thing. Don't ask me, but it works.
Yeah, I bet it does.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of like Dead Elvis. So, but yeah, how did we get here? What are we?
We were talking about the squat Pelotor, yeah.
Okay. We've got to Leon, then we got to Pellissippi. All right, I was trying to figure out how we got there, where I'm talking about No Name Henson. But yeah, if you get your hands on one of those, good luck. Because I know Roger Williams got one, and he's a really big pedal collector. He collects a lot of Keeley, and I think he owns everything that Lollygagger has put out, and probably everything that Pelican Noiseworks has put out. I actually was about to get one, but I already have a limited edition Pelotar. I've got a pink one, so I was like, I can't really imagine spending the money. I just wanted the cool box.
Yeah. They have that, and then I think from time to time, I know there's a buzz that there may be, I don't know, I hate to be a spoiler on this, there may be another, possibly, I could be wrong, run of the Pelotar and the Gigantium drive.
Ooh, I want one of those.
And that's the thing, is like, I bet when they do that, like, I'm not going to have the money to jump on it.
They always do it at like the worst times for me. They're like, we're doing it Monday at noon. I'm like, I don't get paid till Wednesday at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
I was lucky that there was one limited edition pedal that I like messaged the builder, and I was like, listen, I am good for it. Give me 24 hours. Save me one. And they're like, I got you.
Yeah.
And I was able to get it.
So, if you're into that sort of thing, that's what I would look for.
Yeah, time to start saving some money. If I'm getting another Pelotar, that's what it's going to be. And it's black.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted a black one. But Leon told me, he's like, yeah, I don't plan on doing black for a while. He's like, but I'm doing pink. And I was like, yeah, that's my jam.
Oh.
And, let's see. And then okay, so this next thing has been like running around the internet right now. And I figured Clifton Worley would be a great person to get an opinion on this.
Okay.
All right, so Robert Smith from The Cure. I don't know if you've ever really listened to The Cure. It doesn't seem like your cup of tea.
Not really. I'm aware of who they are. Yeah.
He's, I personally like The Cure. I got really big into them mostly because of I watched a lot of early South Park, and one of the lines they yelled was Robert Smith was in, I think, the movie or in one of like the first seasons, and they're like, "Disintegration's the best album ever," and I had to go listen to it, and it's a phenomenal album if you're into that. But yeah, so he went on stage. He's playing. They're doing the Disintegration tour, pretty much, where that's all they're going to play is the Disintegration album. But he's playing with Line 6 Spiders.
Okay.
On tour. These are the newer Spiders, it looks like. But a lot of people are just kind of blowing their mind.
Well,
what do you... So here's my thing. At what point do you think... number one, The Cure, I mean, you're aware of who they are. You could assume that they've got money. They're doing a big tour. They'd be able to afford, a decent backline. But what do you think, like, about big names using what we consider entry-level gear?
Well, I have to say this. I've not played the brand new Spiders. They've got to be better than they were. Like, if you think about this, like, Line 6 has got the Helix line and all this stuff, and everybody's wanting that. But, like, it's got to filter down to where this technology...
You're getting some decent quality and they're low. Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, and Robert Smith's been known not to use, like, top-of-the-line stuff. For the longest time, he used a Roland Jazz chorus. He used a Line 6 Flextone Plus. He used Supro Black Magic, but he's also used a Roland Cube, the ADGX. So he's not... Number one, he's not loyal to a certain amp. It's not like when you think of or you think of the Edge, you think of a AC30. When you think of Slash, you think of a Marshall. I mean, he's kind of done a little bit of everything. So you've never really listened to The Cure. I don't really think of them as being like known for their tone.
Yeah, I think you don't know like what kind of deal he was approached with.
That's true too. Listen, if Line 6 like gave me money, my Kemper's going away. I'll play Spiders. I don't care. Yeah.
I mean, I would too. Like when you're at that level and say you don't care, I mean, like there's obviously like the guys who are going to be like, you can't pay me enough money not to play XYZ amp or whatever, but
dude, my loyalty goes out the door at like 4,000. That's all I'm saying.
and there's got to be some kind of deal. That's all I got to say. It's kind of like
so you think that's money motivated?
Yeah, I think kind of like you think about like the Grateful Dead. Was it Bob Weir was playing? Like what was he playing?
D'Angelico is the thing he really had a...
Yeah, and it's like there's way better guitars than that. To me, like those aren't better than like Epiphone. Actually, not as well made in my opinion. And it's kind of like they're well enough to play.
Throwing shade.
I am.
Clifton Worley
getting controversial.
How it is.
I don't do this on my show, so I'm going to go be controversial on somebody else's show.
He's like, I'm going over to Diaz's show and I'm going to mess some stuff up. Mess it up before I can. That's fine with me.
But yeah, I think it's got to be one of those kind of deals.
I don't think so. I think that he's just... I don't know. I don't think... Number one, I think for the tone that he gets, pretty much any amp will do. It's nothing special. I mean, all he needs is a Boss CE2, some sort of chorus, and that's it. And then a nasty distortion or fuzz. Like, that's pretty much his sound.
And if you're playing, and I'm sure like the Spider's got to be like probably like 100 plus watt, I would imagine, and maybe multiple speakers in the cab. I'm not sure what the rig is, but if you're just wanting like a clean bass tone, to, you know, add your little layer of icing on, I think it'd be okay. Yeah. It's reliable, I'm sure.
For the longest time, I had a Line 6 spider that I used to use at home. Just I'd plug in to, I'd leave an amp at church and in my Line 6 spider at home. But they don't sound horrible. The cleans can actually sound good because they give you a nice flat. I'm not gonna say flat rate, flat response, but they give you a really nice flat layer to start building your tone on.
Yeah, I still have my spider from like 15 years ago, and the clean tone on it sounds pretty good. What I don't like about it is I think Brian Wampler did a really good YouTube video on them and how to dial those in to use with pedals, because by default, I know the old ones, they aren't very good. Like, you throw a pedal in front of it and they start sounding really funky and weird.
Yeah, they get this like little like wah sound. I don't know how to like describe it, but that's the best way. Just like wah.
And
like,
the other thing about those amps, and I don't know why, because I mean, you realize like everybody wants a Vox or a Fender or a whatever tone, right? They don't want their EQs to be so full of range that you start getting into some weird territory, right? Like on a Fender or Vox, like those EQ settings are just messing with it by a few decibels, right? Mm-hmm. So you get into like a Line 6 where the range is so full that you get into quacky or terrible thumpy mids that you don't want.
Kind of like a flubby sound. Yeah, I guess that's about. Yeah, that little flub push where you're just kind of like, where did that, kind of.
So you can get into trouble with that amp, like if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
And so you've got to know how to set those and compensate correctly.
So Clifford says only professionals need to use these amps, guys.
Which is a paradox, because why would a professional want to use that amp?
Why are we building these amps? You know what, Clifton? Summer NAMM, me and you, Line 6 protest. We're gonna get picket signs.
We're gonna confront them.
We're gonna. Why are you the way you are? Honestly, no, I'm just kidding. Line 6 actually was great to us at Summer NAMM last year, and they were really cool. I got distracted because there was pianos nearby, and Clifton, you tickle some ivories too.
Been known to, tickle that a little bit.
I just found our episode title. I gotta write this down. I've been known to tickle that a little bit. There was pianos nearby, and it was funny because I actually plugged it in, and I didn't realize that. I thought I was listening to the headphones, but it's just so crazy in there that I didn't realize that I couldn't hear the headphones. I thought I just couldn't hear it all. The headphones weren't plugged in, and Scott was recording me play, and I was just like, "Oh, hi there," because I'm a very basic piano player. I could make it through something if I needed to.
Yeah, I've heard you play, so you're solid.
I don't know how solid I am. I know all the chords.
Yeah.
Not like all the chords, but I could make it through. If you give me a sustain pedal and some pads, I can play any worship set you ever need. Give me that transpose button.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. It's like a capo for piano. It's great. All right, so really quick, we've actually talked for a lot longer than I thought we would have. But here, all right. So let's talk about your backline. What are you playing with right now as your main amp?
My only like real amp that I have right now that I own is a Princeton.
Okay. Oh, you got rid of the Living Tone?
Yeah. I traded the Living Tone for a Princeton's limited edition.
Oh, nice. And so what? All right. So Princeton, that's a really good amp. That's like a solid. Solid amp choice. What's your, if you show up to a gig, what would be the best thing for you to find there?
Like, you talking about like just random gig, what I want to be there?
Yeah. All right. So Clifton, you're gonna come jam with us tonight at Ralph's bar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though, I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to the bar, but say I invite you to come out, and I'm like, don't worry, we've got an amp. What would be the ideal thing for you to walk into?
I would be okay, like if there was like a Hot Rod DeVille or a Blues Junior or a Classic 30 or AC 15. If it was solid state, you know, I would grin and bear it, you know.
You're not a big fan of solid state. What about, have you played the Boss Katana?
I have. Yeah, I would do it. I probably would be happy about it, but I would do it.
So you're a tube snob.
I am.
Oh man, I felt so bad because whenever we were at the house last year, I wanted to profile that Living Tone so bad, but I had just upgraded to the beta so we could try the spring reverb in it, and it caused issues with my profiling abilities. I felt embarrassed on behalf of Kemper.
Well, that probably wasn't the best environment to do something like that in, anyways. I'm like,
so we're doing the Summer NAMM house again this year, and we've got a different kind of a different group. There's a few of us that are going back in, but I'm excited about this year. We've got Sean from Gun Street, Corey is going to be there. You, me, Chris, my wife. I think that's it right now, isn't it? That's it. Yeah, I think we were going to try to get one more.
Yeah.
So if you want somewhere to stay and you're not a murderer, hit me up.
And
that last part's kind of important.
Yeah.
Clifton's like, please don't murder us. we got away with it 1 year. We can't have any problem.
Not again.
Yeah, no, but I'm excited about it's going to be a lot of fun at the house because I think last year a bunch of us were all kind of like gung-ho. I think this year it's kind of like being like the old dogs. We're just like, shut up, go away, we want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's I forgot who it was. Daniel Shields still has the greatest shut up and go to sleep. It was the nicest way ever. Guys, we're going to go to sleep in here. So if you could just turn it down.
Yeah, I didn't pace myself last year because I stayed up like that first night so stinking late. And then the second night, like I was like falling asleep on the couch while everybody was like over at the house. Like we had a whole bunch of guests, and I was just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm gonna lay down.
You fell asleep. That was great. That was because that's when Albert and Anthony were there. Everyone was over that night.
Yeah.
I think we might have one night like that this year, if that. I think we might just try to have it at someone else's house. We're like, no, let's go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy weekend. I mean, it wasn't crazy. It's not like, I mean, we were well-behaved children, but it's still, Summer NAMM's a blur. Every time you just turn around, you're like, what's going on?
I never accomplish everything I set out to do when I go to Summer NAMM. Like it's
no, listen. This year, Chris has me by myself on Thursday. I'm nervous because I don't feel responsible enough. I'm going to try to set up meetings with people, I guess.
Well, I'm going to probably, the way it's looking, like
we can work together, Clifton. I'll cameraman for you, and then you cameraman for me.
That's perfect, actually.
Tag team it.
Yeah, we need to make that happen. I don't think I'm going to be there till like midday. That's if we get going, because it looks like what's going to happen is my wife is driving up with her mom and the kids and everything, and they're going to go do some things, like going to do some other things, and they're dropping me off at NAMM, so I'm going to like have suitcase in hand and everything.
Just going to drop you off at the front door and be like, all right, we'll see you in a few days.
Exactly. And so I don't know.
See, every guy like kind of dreams of that, but then when it happens, we're all just like, what do I do now? We don't have anyone. That's how I am. Like, I'm all the time, I'm like, I'm going to go without my wife. I'm going to do this. And the whole time I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't have anyone telling me how to behave and where to go. I'm the worst. I I'm such an introvert when it comes to like big crowds, that I have to push myself, and my wife is like my security blanket.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets so mad because I take her with me everywhere. I'm like, I'm going to Guitar Center. Let's go. And she's like, I'm not going to Guitar Center. I'm like, yeah, you are. Let's go. And she's, because then I'm like, I wonder how much that guitar is. Jess, go ask him how much that guitar is right there. She's like, you go ask. I'm like, I don't want to talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm in the worst job for it. I'm in food service. Like I think I get my fill of talking to strangers all day.
Well, if you it may be surprising, but I'm on a Myers-Briggs INFP. If you have never done a Myers-Briggs, you need to do one because it like reads your mail, and so I'm introverted, so the I is like introverted, the first letter,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people say, well, I didn't think you were introverted. And I was like, well, I can do it for so long, and then like I could go straight hermit mode if I have to kind of deprocess and get it, get right again. So
Jess and I went, after we went yard sailing this past weekend, we went to the movies, which is a Cinebar, which is really cool because you get recliners,
mm-hmm.
and if you like to drink, they have beer and stuff like that. And so I had a beer, and I'm watching Rocket Man, which was a fantastic movie, by the way. And I'm watching that, and we start walking around, and she's like, where do you want to eat? And I was like, well, we're at the mall. Let's do food court. I went, there's a bunch of people. I turned around, I said, nope, we got to go. I was like, I'm done. I sat there, I saw all these people. I was like, no, not happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can only do people for so long. And I think like 2 days at NAM, and then I'm like, okay, bye everybody.
I'm done with. I'm kind of, when I get to Summer NAM, I think I'm really good about, I kind of pace myself while I'm in there.
Mm-hmm.
I go in and out of the floor quite a bit. I get away from people, and then I go in, and I get, and so I pace myself pretty well. But I like to do every day just because there's a lot of people there that I really have built cool friendships with, and I just love being around, that I endure it because it's so cool to see them. Like, I can't wait to see Grant and Karen from Big Ear. Those are two of my favorites that I get to see every year. I'm gonna see Cody from Westminster Effects. I've got like the whole list. We're gonna see Ryan from Yellow Cake Pedals. I'm just excited to see all of them.
Yeah, I think my pre-gaming, I'm gonna try to like reestablish contact with some of the people that I met for the first time at Winter Now, and this kind of follow up. But I really don't. I guess.
Well, Thursday's great because it's swag day. That's when everyone's got all their swag out. That's like my thing though. Every year,
you're gonna be like, I'm swagging on you, right?
Yeah, that's it, dude. And the whole time, I'm like, I need to get my wardrobe for the next year. And I'm a big guy. I'm like a 3X, so I've got to hit all the ones I want early. I'm like, 3X? All right, right here. All right, we'll do an interview tomorrow. My people will talk to your people. And then I realize I am my people, and I'm like, well, I guess we got to talk now.
Yeah. So my expectations this year, like, I'm just kind of, I don't know. I just kind of want to go hang out. Like,
wait, is Berniker going to be there this year?
I don't know. He was at Winter Now.
All right. I don't know if I can handle Berniker for another year.
Come on. He was like he had matured, like, or grown up.
Oh no, I don't mean it in a bad way. He is just so energetic. Yeah. He really is. Last Summer NAM, because it was his first NAM, I think, he was just like all over the place. And I think everyone does it their first year. I remember my first year, I only went on like public day, and then I was just, the next year, my first day, I was just all over the place. In the second 2 days, I'm just like, Lord, take me, your servant is willing.
No, he was so much like taking it well. Like when I saw him in January, like he was like, okay, he's got NAM out of his system, and it's
I anytime someone tells me it's their first NAM, I just like pull them up real close, and I'm like, don't spoil it on your first day. Just pace yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Lots of water, stretching. And then I realize I'm just getting older, and I'm having to coach myself.
Back when I went to NAM the first time in 2011,
I'm like, if your knees start hurting, just take the Tylenol. It's not a sign of weakness. That's like 1 year I'm sitting here, I'm like, does anyone want to get a beer? You want to get a beer? You want to get a beer? This year I'm going to be like, you want to get Tylenol? Anyone? We can go in on a bottle of Tylenol. It'll be great.
Yeah.
This is the good stuff. This is 500 milligrams.
It's like taking 3. Yeah.
that's it. Make sure you don't take it on an empty stomach. It'll tear you up. You'll regret it later. We're getting hot chicken. All right. All right. So once again, check out the Clifton Worley Show. He's got a really fun podcast. Does a lot of cool interviews. You've had a lot of awesome people on your show as well.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I've trying to mix it up, and I kind of been doing a little bit different groove since last NAMM. I kind of dialing back a little bit, kind of figure out how the show is going to be, but kind of went to every other week kind of format.
I think we were talking about that at last summer NAMM. I think at that point, because we had only been going for, I don't know, 10, 12 episodes at the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Like we were still pretty young, and you had just started reevaluating your format, and we had actually all had a really cool talk, and we were talking about what worked. And I think that was one of the big pushes. We were all like, Clifton, you got to do this. Like, this is awesome about your show. And you gave us a lot of good feedback. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to Summer NAMM too. There's going to be quite a few podcasts represented there. And I think, we're not in competition with each other. And, for the most part, because 60 Cycle Hum already has everybody listening. But it's really cool to sit down and we all kind of talk and how are you doing this and oh yeah, that'd be cool, I can hook you up with this guy, you can talk with this, and so that's gonna be a lot of fun as well. But I just thanks for coming on the show again. Covering my butt. So
thank you for letting me be on a show. It's been fun to not have to be in charge.
I know. You know what? The best thing about this show is it kind of runs itself. And we just keep talking until one of us goes, all right, that's it, guys. So, but thanks for joining us, everybody. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups@the-effects-loop. Leave us a review on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram. That's at The Effects Loop. You can also join our Patreon. Give us money. We will not be upset with you at all, I promise. And then you can also connect with us on LinkedIn.
Cool.
Cool. I wonder if we do have a LinkedIn, because I think Scott added that as a joke, and I just will never delete it.
Well, fun fact, Isaiah works for LinkedIn, I believe. So
Isaiah
Dominguez.
Oh, yeah. I was just like I was like going through all the Isaiahs on Facebook. I'm like, maybe that's not it. All right, so once again, thanks for checking us out, guys. Check out the Clifton Worley Show. We will see you guys next week.
Later.